as I said, we've got a guest in the studio and going to give his presidential address for 2017. It's been a spectacular rise from the ranks, and of course it's always a pleasure to have our club president who's not in the same line as Mr. Trump. He's not building any walls, he's not having any fake news, it's all the truth. What can you tell us? What's been happening with the Poppies?
Well, most of it's been in the press, Paul, and there isn't much else that we don't know, to be perfectly honest.
There was a little bit on social media this morning, I think it was, from Richard Atkinson, etc., saying that there'd been a meeting with, I think it was the council, and I think Neil Griffin also put something in the press as well.
Yeah, Neil was quoted. I think John Dunham did an article with Neil about a meeting that was held at the Borough Council. I think we thought it was going to be with councillors. It turned out to be with the executive officers, which was good. And the chief executive, as is, I think, is leaving, and one of his deputies is taking over. And the other guy, Martin Hammond, has been there a while, and another deputy who I think will be appointed. So a dialogue started with two of the executive officers, which is good, which is positive, and more meetings will have to take place. Richie is away in China, pursuing the Future Lions project and doing very well at that. So
there was rumour there, Ken. So not rumour, but I understand we've got a 26,000 stadium chucked in with the China.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't profess to know exactly what's going on, because it's going on right now, and all the work is being done, all the deals are being contracted, and obviously we have to have a training facility, and there is a picture of a nice stadium which I think has been thrown in as part of the facilities that we can use.
And this is also a link up with Everton, isn't it, football club?
Yeah, there's going to be a link up with Everton for the summer camps. So the summer camps I think we hold here and in China are going to involve coaching staff from Everton, and Everton are going to do some promotion on it. So obviously Richie is a keen Everton fan.
He's got his help, hasn't he?
I think he's been he's been working on that for a while, and I think they've come across and said, yeah, we'll do a joint venture. So that's really positive news. I think people of the locality ought to be encouraged by that, and to get the kids to come and be coached by not only our own coaches but Premiership team coaches. So that's fantastic. And
also being linked with the Premiership clubs, also good news for Kettering Town, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's lots of clubs that would want to get into localities to try and find the best youngsters, and I guess Everton are the same. But for them to actually do a joint venture with Kettering is quite
unique, isn't it?
Well, I wouldn't say it's unique, but it's quite a feather in our cap, I would say. Yeah, definitely.
Back on to the ground front, I understand the Trust also have been having dialogue with the former estate owners. I think, is it Craig Windsor, I think it is, has been in contact with the Trust, and any real positives there at all? Well,
that's for the Trust to say. I believe they've entered into correspondence, and I guess that's still ongoing. So I don't think there's anything actually to report there, but yeah, I mean, talk to the Trust, talk to Richard, see what their take on it is. But they're doing that for themselves, on behalf of the supporters and their members, obviously.
In your own heart of hearts, Ken, where do you think this is going to go eventually? If you had not a preference, with Latimer Park maybe, or Rockingham Road, because it's still there, isn't it? Dangling like a carrot, this Rockingham Road, and we have the weekly glebe analogy as well, maybe going ahead.
Look at the realities. I mean, Rockingham Road is the spiritual home. We all loved being there, despite the fact it was old and falling down, and lots of things wanted to be repaired every year, and it was quite a challenge to sort of keep it all running. But I know how much people would like to go back there. Look at it realistically. Not only have you got to find money to buy it, whatever the price it is. Nobody ever knows if there's a price or not, if it's for sale. So that's a cost. To actually make it into a football ground again is another major cost. I know if it just dropped in our laps today, we wouldn't have to have all the seats that were there before, we wouldn't have to have all the facilities. We'd only have to have a ground that met the needs of the current level that we're at, maybe the one above. But realistically, I think Rockingham Road is all but dead. That's my personal view.
How about Latimer Park then? Let's get on to Latimer Park.
Latimer
I mean,
Park,
we've seen the plans that Richie has drawn up. I put them in the programme a few weeks ago, and it's all there for everyone to see. There is the space here for development. We can all see that. Situation probably isn't ideal for a lot of Kettering fans, but it is a solution, isn't it?
Latimer Park is a solution, yeah, and the plans have been laid out. There's a long way to go before we get anywhere near that stage. I think we might have to do things a bit at a time. We're also reliant on Burton Latimer Town Council and Kettering Borough Council approving what we want to do. But yes, it's. I mean, going back a number of years, when Bo Patrick was vice chairman of the football club, we had long discussions with him about the prospects of Latimer Park. He had great ideas for Latimer Park himself. A sports hall, not a 3G surface because they weren't really that much in vogue, but a sports hall and a stand, and at the Morrison's end, which is quite feasible. So yes, there's a lot of land here. There's a lot of potential here. We have a good social club. We could build on to that, and we could make it a good facility. And I'm very aware of what supporters want. They want good facilities. You build a nice facility for somebody, and they will come.
Isn't that a movie?
Yeah. I've seen that.
What's a movie somewhere?
Yeah, it's baseball.
Baseball one, build it, they will come. Of course.
But yes, I mean, I can't profess that we've got the greatest of facilities here, and sometimes it's a bit embarrassing when visiting teams come and it's a pokey little changing room and the facilities are poor. We've put 2 or 3 stands in which have helped, but it is quite bleak. Can be quite bleak in the winter, and if somebody's thinking, well, shall I go, shan't I go? Maybe they'd have gone to a Rockingham Road or a Slough Town or something like that, but maybe they won't go to Latimer Park. So you have to try and build a facility that people enjoy. I mean, I think the social club is a great facility. It's better than we had at Rockingham Road, to be perfectly honest. And that ought to encourage people to come into the place. And also, of course, you've got to put a footballing product on that people would want to watch.
Well, that's the next point, Ken, isn't it? The football product hasn't been really what we expected this season, has it? I mean, from going to be promotion favourites and struggling now to get into the playoffs, it's not been the ideal season, has it, to improve things?
It hasn't gone as planned, and we've spoken as a board, we've spoken with the manager, we've spoken long and hard about this. The problem that everybody can see is the home form, particularly early in the season. If we'd repeated our away form at home and beaten, you were talking about the top teams, and beaten some of the top teams, we wouldn't be in the position that we're in, but we didn't. And the home form initially is what's cost us majorly this season, and will probably mean that we won't make the playoffs. That said, 13 games to go, it's 39 points to win. If you were to go on a run and win a lot of those games, you'd be in the playoffs. The likelihood of that is probably unlikely, but it's still possible. But yeah, the season hasn't gone the way that we'd have wanted it to go, and the way the manager would have wanted it to go. Although the players themselves seem very confident. The players seem to be a tight-knit bunch. There's a lot of team spirit there. Last Saturday, although we lost, the players still thought that we could do it. They're going out with belief, and 1 or 2 players have come to the fore in recent weeks, particularly Rennie Howe, who's been absolutely playing out of his skin for himself, the manager and the club. And if you can get players playing like that consistently,
which he is, isn't he?
Yeah. And another few of those doing the same, then you've got a good team. What I would say is we've played, the teams at the top are all very well organised. They're all well drilled. They've had managers by and large that have been there a while. The players know what their manager wants, and the manager plays those players in in a formation, and most of them have had not a lot of injuries and not a lot of suspensions. And you look at Kettering and say, well, even today, James Brighton went down with an injury in training on Thursday, and he was automatic selection.
Yeah.
And he may be out for 10 days. Well, you can't
legislate
for that. He was going to be in the team. He's an important man in the team, and he's not here. He's not playing. And we've had quite a few of that happening to us, and Paul Malone was a case in point. Operation, sudden gallstone problem.
Bateman's been inconsistent with his injuries, hasn't he? He seems to have a series of 5 games where he's been very good, then gets injured and he's out for a while.
He's got what they call short hamstrings.
Yeah, right.
So you have to work very hard on his fitness to try and make his hamstrings so that they're not going to give up on him, which is a shame for a young lad like that. But yeah, we've had lots and lots of changes enforced on us. Whereas I can look at some of the other teams and say, well, top teams, and say, well, look, there's the same team again, week in, week out. So some of it's luck, some of it's you've got to say is down to the manager or the coaching.
The buck stops there, doesn't it?
And the buck stops there, and then the buck stops with the board. To be honest, we were the people that made the appointment, and we've supported, as much as we possibly can, and been very, very fair. And obviously, it's quite right to say that everything is up for review.
Okay, well, we better leave that one there then, Ken. Thank you very much for your frank opinions there, and I'm sure that the fans will read into that what they want to read into it, as they always do. But
we're not sitting on our hands.
No.
I mean, you read some social media comments, and perhaps there's something aimed against the board, but we're not sitting on our hands. We're not totally unaware of what the situation is, and obviously we're as concerned as everybody else that we're not where we want it to be.
Thank you, Ken.
Okay.
Great to have you on again.
Thanks.
You've heard it here first, of course.